The narrative.
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 Changing the narrative, an initiative powered by OVJ.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of the Changing the Narrative podcast with your host, me, Ikea Brago. Changing the Narrative is an initiative powered by Oli Bagbudi to increase Ghanaian and African culture patronage through conversations aimed at shifting our mindset for the better. I'm excited to let you know that this season of the podcast is sponsored by Newcomer, the social media platform dedicated to African creatives to share their work, find jobs, as well as events. On today's episode, I have with me the multi-talented digital creator. I mean, he wears a lot of hats. He's a fellow podcaster. He is a photographer, a storyteller, and a content creator. I mean, guys, I am very honored to let you guys know I have Zuu with me on the podcast today. Hi, Zuu. How are you doing? Honestly, really? I need to do something.
Yeah, they need to clap and everything. But yeah, very excited to be here. I feel like it's been a long time coming. I remember when you started your podcast, so I'm glad to see that you've made it to season 2. A lot of people don't get past season 1, so yeah, I'm glad you made it to season 2. And I'm excited for a great conversation.
Me too. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for honoring my invitation. I'm actually very excited.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So
I'll always say yes.
I'm happy to hear that. So before we actually get into the conversation, Zuu, I want to just, find out from you.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before we get into this part, I need to let the people know why you're on here. So today we're basically going to talk about veganism. Zuu is going to educate us about what it is to be a vegan, share a bit of his journey, and also kind of like share what's like documenting your journey as a Ghanaian vegan. But before we get into that, I want to play a game with you. I want to play a game.
Serious?
Or that. Oh, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not even that serious, at all.
Okay, let's do it. I mean, I like games, so yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty, cool stuff. So we're going to tap into your past a little bit before you started this vegan lifestyle. So The first question is fufu with chicken light soup or goat meat light soup?
Ooh, okay. Wow, this is hard because for most of the time while I was growing up, I was always having chicken light soup, and I would have goat light soup a few times because I wasn't the one making the food, but I assume that it's easier to cook chicken than goats. So they were always making chicken light soup instead of goat light soup. But I did like goat light soup as well. So I think I'll go for chicken just because, I just had like a longer relationship with it. So yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay then. Goat meat jollof rice.
Hey.
Or fried rice with grilled chicken. We need to know what you were like back then. I'm sorry.
I think I'll go for jollof. Jollof is still one of my favorite foods. People tell me that, oh my God, that's so basic. It's so basic. But I feel like if jollof is made well.
Jollof is so basic.
They're like, why is that your favorite? Yeah, they're like, why is that your favorite food? I'm like, you guys don't eat good jollof. That's why it's not in your top 3, But yeah, it's in my top 3. And so I'll go for jollof all the time. Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay, so the last one. Banku with okra that has meat, crab, the tolo beef.
All the stuff.
Or, the good stuff. Or banku with seafood okra.
I'll go for seafood okra. Okra. But funny enough, growing up, I didn't like okra growing up because of the texture.
Okay,
yeah, I didn't like it at all. So I didn't eat it for a long time, like 10 years. And then I went back, I was like, yo, I've wasted 10 years of my life.
To be fair, okra is actually
it's elite. Yeah. So yeah, seafood okra.
Okay. Okay. All right then. Not bad. That's good. Okay,
Yeah.
so Zoo, we're about to get into
Hmm.
like your vegan lifestyle. Um, so I read in an article, I think it's called "Celebrating the Food of West African Vegan Style." You were featured
Hmm.
in this article.
Yeah.
Really nice article, by the way. And in that article, you said you became a vegan out of curiosity, and as
Yeah.
like you've journeyed like through the lifestyle, like you have a stronger why. So I'd like for you to like take us through, the journey of you becoming a vegan, like when it started, how it started, what made you start, where you're at now, and all of that.
Okay, so I'll try and give you like I have like not different versions, but different lengths of the story. Like I can give a lot of detail, I can give just a little detail. So I'll give you like a middle point, or else we'll be
Okay,
here forever.
I get that.
So basically, yeah, basically 20, I want to say 2016, I was still in uni. I was still in uni. One of my friends had started a vegan journey, and he was living in England at the time. He was in uni in England, and I was in Ghana. And he came back for holidays, and he had lost a lot of weight. He was looking healthy. He was going to the gym. I was like, bro, what's going on? I mean, I thought he was sick,
Right.
but it turns out he had just changed his lifestyle. And he told me about it. I was like, it sounds interesting because at the time I was also like a gym boy. I was trying to be fit. I was trying to be healthy. I was already trying to like be careful about the things I eat. But I
Right.
wasn't playing. I wasn't playing with my beef and my all these things at the time. So he told
Yeah.
me that this is what he's doing. I was like, what kind of white people thing is this? Like the fact that you've gone to England doesn't mean you should start doing English things, you know. But yeah, it just got me. Yeah, that's the mindset I had at the time. So it just got me like really curious though. So I started doing research, like a little research at the time. And I was like, oh, this is cool. But I don't think I can do this in Ghana because when I was doing my research, it was very, as you can imagine, most of the resources online were very West leaning.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bro, I don't know where I'm going to get asparagus and all sorts of things from. So I'm like, okay, if I end up going there, then I'll do it. But right now, let me just focus on what I do. Fast forward to 2018, I was like, let me try this thing. I tried it. I didn't know what to eat. I was like, let me just try it. I tried it after like day 4. I was eating chicken because I was like, bro, I don't know what to eat. I had like nothing. But so this is all me like in the curiosity stage. Like I just want to see what it's like because I was seeing a lot of good reviews and everything. So I wanted to try it so bad. Then I tried again in 2019. By the time I took my time, in 2018 I did it overnight. So in
Okay.
2019 I took my time. So every month or so I would take something out of my diet. So I started with like red meats, and then I went to like chicken, and eventually I had taken everything else. I was like, oh wait, now I'm vegan because I don't eat any of the things anymore. Yeah. So it was a long process in the sense that I had to tune my mind first. That took like 3 years.
Okay.
And then doing the actual transition took like 8, 9 months. So yeah, so August 2019, by the end of it, and I had met other people who were vegan too by then. So there was a lot more people to talk to, a lot more,
Right.
just information on where to get this, where to get that, what to eat, what not to eat, all those things. So um I just really enjoyed the experience when I switched. I was like, okay. Initially, I was like, oh, let me just do it for a short time, maybe a month or two. And I did. I was
Yeah.
like, I really like how I'm feeling, and I don't see why I should go back. Which is not to say that I was feeling bad before, but I just felt better. I was like, I don't see why I would feel this way now and then go back to how I was feeling before. So, long story short, that's how I transitioned. And then yeah, so I just kept going. So it's been over 4 years now. And like I said in that article, my why. So first, my why was just I just want to see what it's like. But my why
Yeah.
has changed so much. Now there's like health. I do it because I feel healthy,
Right.
and also just being in the space, entering the space as a vegan content creator, and literally someone who people want to talk to about all these things. I realized I have developed like I don't know, affection is not the word, but like now I care about
Passion.
animals. I just care
Okay.
about animals. When I didn't care about them at all when I started, because you just see more things. You see how they are treated. I hadn't
Yeah.
seen animals being killed before for
Right.
food, and now I'm seeing it. I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy. So it just a whole different perspective on the way I saw life compared to now. And
Right.
yeah, so that's really what it is. Yeah,
No, I get what you mean. I mean, I still do eat chicken, but I remember
yeah,
seeing a chicken being killed for the first time,
yeah, yeah. It's
and I was
grim.
really traumatized. I didn't eat that fufu and chicken soup that day.
It's grim. Yeah, 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 yeah. I can't lie.
Yeah, so I mean, I
Yeah,
get where you're coming from, even though I still eat chicken, but I do understand.
yeah, yeah,
I do
yeah.
understand
I
where you're
mean,
coming
yeah, yeah. When I
from. Yeah,
started, I was just like it's not that deep. I don't care. But then when I see more stuff, I'm just like, bro, like that's
yeah.
crazy.
It starts to
So
hit a
yeah,
different spot in your heart.
yeah,
That's amazing.
exactly.
That's quite an interesting journey. I think what stuck with me was you did say it took you about 3 years to tune your mind
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and 9 months for the transition. I
yeah,
mean, my second question was going to be, was it hard? But listening to you and you like telling me or telling us the time frame, I'm just like, that's interesting. So technically, it really does start from the mind because it took you that long
yeah,
mentally for you
yeah,
to be like, okay,
yeah,
you know what? I'm actually ready to do this. What do you think were some of
yeah.
like the mental battles that you had to fight to get to that point?
I mean, essentially, you are challenging everything you have known to that point
Yeah,
surrounding food,
yeah,
because literally in school, they tell you, like, oh, you have to eat for protein, you have to eat this and that.
yeah.
So it's me just like, the whole process was me like, yo, is everything I've known a
A
lie?
lie?
Like, or can two
Get
things be
that
true? It's just me trying to like
right.
really understand what's going on. And like I said, at the time I was working out when I first decided to change, and it's like, I'm working out and I'm trying to get as much protein as possible, and I want to get muscles and things, and now I'm going to stop eating the things that they tell me are giving me muscle. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, it was just just a lot of questioning what I already know, and then I had to do a lot of unlearning, to do a lot of relearning, and yeah, I think that for me that was the hardest part, because the thing is, you can let's say I could put you in a house with a vegan chef and they'll make you the best vegan food ever for the rest of your life, but if you don't want to do it yourself, you you wouldn't be able to eat the food for a long time at least. Do you know what I mean? So
Right.
initially, I think the hardest part is tuning your mind and actually realizing that you want to do it, and then figuring out how to do it. So yeah, that part was hard. But I think once now it's easier. This was 2018, 2019. Now it's easier because it's a lot more resources, and if you really want to do it, you can find out how to do it. But back then it was quite hard. Yeah.
Right. I think another thing you mentioned, which I find interesting and is actually a concern, or let me say, yeah, I don't know if I should call it a concern, but that's what a lot of people tend to say is
Mm,
I cannot be vegan in Ghana. Like, where am I going to get the food from? You know,
yeah.
asparagus, like you said, because when you Google, the information out there doesn't necessarily cater to our country,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
So, how were you able to, or let me say, yeah, how were you able to get to the point where you're like, you know what, I can actually become a vegan on a Ghanaian diet? Like, how did you reach that point? Because, I mean, to be fair, we have kontomire, which is very nutritious and also very plant
Yeah.
based. I think we do have amazing food, like,
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
continent, in the country, but we
Yeah.
don't necessarily see them to be very healthy, or they're not really
Hmm.
put out to, they're not commercialized in a way that you're like, okay, you can actually become a vegan on a Ghanaian diet. So, how were you able
Yeah.
to navigate that?
Yeah. So you mentioned something really important there. A lot of our foods, our local foods, are inherently plant based. Like, they start out as plant-based dishes. So okra, consomme, beans and plantain, like almost everything we eat in this part of the world is plant-based. But then maybe at some stage during the cooking, we'll add meats or fish or whatever it is. But there's a way to make everything in a plant-based way. So I think the first step for me was to realize that I can still, because in your mind it's like I can't, if I go vegan, I can't eat all these things anymore. But I feel
Yeah.
like most people enjoy the meal itself as opposed to elements of the meal. Do you understand? So if I tell someone I'm going, or if someone says they want to go vegan and they're like, oh, but I can't eat wachi anymore and I can't eat this anymore. I'm like, you can still eat these things. You just have to make some changes. So for me, that was the first step, was for me to like realize that I can still enjoy the things I like, but because I know it's possible to, I knew it was possible to be vegetarian because I knew vegetarian people. But I was like, can you take it a step further? Like, is it possible? It'll be so hard for me to find food, da da da. So yeah, that was me just understanding that the things I already eat, I can still eat them.
Yeah.
That was for me the biggest, game changer for me. Yeah, because I don't play with my food. I know what I like, and I would like to keep eating the things I like. You know what I mean? So yeah, for me that was it. Yeah.
Amazing. Another thing
Yeah.
a lot of people tend to say is being vegan in Ghana is expensive.
Yeah.
I would love to hear your take on that. Do you think this is like true in your experience?
I think it's the biggest myth ever. I don't understand where it comes from. I mean, granted, if you are, but you see, this applies to whatever way you eat, but it depends on where you get your food from. If I'm buying, I don't want to. It's not even shade to them. It is what it is. But if I'm going to Medina
Go ahead.
Market, if I'm going to
Go
Medina
ahead.
Market to buy tomatoes and onions,
Yeah.
it's not going to cost the same as if I was buying it from Fairway. Like obviously Fairway will be more expensive. If I was buying a meal if I was buying wachi from the wachi woman down the streets, and then in the evening I'm going to Rockefellers, obviously I'm going to spend more money at Rockefellers, you know what I mean? So I think
Different
people just
people.
have, yeah, they just have like or maybe the only vegan stuff they've seen is from high end places. And so they feel like if I'm going to be vegan, I have to buy food from this place and this place all the time. So they feel like it's going to be expensive. But if you actually meet people who are vegan in Ghana, or just basically live that type of lifestyle, I'm telling you, you spend I spend like, I mean, well, it's been a while, so I can't use actual figures, but I spend way less money on food now than I did back in the day. And when I go out to people, they're buying food and I'm buying food. Like, bro, I'm spending so much less. So yeah, it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper.
That's amazing to hear, honestly. And I think it's also like a breath of fresh air because a lot of people really do believe that, like, you know what, it's really expensive. So, like, hearing this
Yeah.
perspective, like, from you, I think is really good. And I hope, anyone out there who wants to be vegan would actually listen to this and be like, okay,
Yeah, I need to make a
but
video
that's
about it, Seth.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to.
No, I think you have to. You do. You do need
Yeah,
to put it
yeah,
out because it's a
yeah,
worry. It's a genuine concern.
yeah, yeah.
The one thing I want to know is how do you navigate like being in a social setting? Like for instance, if you go out with your friends, say you guys are going for dinner, or not even for dinner, like you're all at a place and the food that's being served is
Uh-huh.
it doesn't necessarily cater
The
for your
perfect
vegan
the perfect
palate.
example is a wedding. It's
A
a wedding is
wedding.
it's
Okay,
a
let's
perfect
use that.
example. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. How do you navigate like, such a setting?
Recently, recently I went for a wedding and they had, it's one of those weddings. They had this fancy website, and then you confirm your RSVP on the website, and
Right.
then they ask you all these questions like, and they
They
put
say
you on
you're
the table.
allergic
Okay,
to.
like yeah, on table this. Yeah, what you're allergic to? Do you have any food preferences? They have this fancy form, and they're like da da da. And then I saw in the food preferences said vegan, and I ticked it. I was like, ah, good. I'm going to
You
enjoy
felt
this wedding.
there was
God, I was so
representation.
Yeah, I was so excited. And so I go
Right.
there, and I was actually sitting by two other vegans. Two of my friends were vegans, and we happened to be on the same table. And I was like, bro, I can't wait for the food. And they're like, we ate before we came home. And I was like, oh, why? They're like, I don't really trust, like, Ghanaians always say they'll give you something, but they don't really have anything. I'm like, nah, but bro, they had the website, bro. They had the website.
Hey guys, I'm actually really excited for this season of the podcast to be sponsored by Newcomer because I personally use the platform and I've also been an avid follower of their journey because I really do think that it's a game changer for Black and African creatives. Okay, let me tell you about the platform for real. So, Newcomer is a social media platform for Black and African creatives to share their work, find jobs, as well as events. The platform has amazing features that caters to both creatives and businesses. For creatives, you can use Newcomer projects to create an online portfolio that allows you to collaborate with other creatives on the platform and also attract clients. Businesses can use Newcomer jobs to set a description, set a budget, and post their jobs for creatives to apply. Businesses can also shortlist and discover talented creatives directly on the platform. An exciting new feature that's coming up is Newcomer Events. This feature allows you to buy and sell event tickets directly on the platform. Newcomer is building an amazing community of African and Black creatives. To join this amazing community, sign up on newcomer.com or download the app on the App Store or the Google Play Store. And don't forget to connect with me on there.
Yeah.
Right now, they've opened the buffet thing, and the only thing that was there is kale really. So that day, I had kale really and mango juice. That's what I had that day.
Oh,
Yeah.
after everything they
After all of that, bro, it was
Oh my
like they had
goodness.
like seafood fried rice, and then they'll put
Okay.
cheese on top. And I'm just like, hey, Charlie,
Cheese
you
on
guys
top of
really,
the
really,
fried rice?
yeah. It was like they're basically making it as non-vegan as possible. That's how it felt. So I'm just like, bro. So basically, all I'm saying is you have to eat before you go out. And because of that website, I didn't eat. I had food, but I'm like, nah. I'm going somewhere where they said they're going to give me food, and so I'm not going to eat. I'm going with my empty stomach, and I'm going to
Yeah.
eat their food there. So yeah, essentially, you have to eat if you're going for an event or something like a wedding, all those things. You have to eat before you go. If not, if it's like a restaurant where you can actually make um, requests and things, most restaurants have at least one thing on the menu that's vegan. If
Right,
not,
right.
you can be like, oh, can I have this thing and take out this and replace it with this, something like that. Usually they
Yeah.
would comply.
Right.
But yeah, if you're going for an event, you have to eat before you go, basically, just in case.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think for me is after all that fancy.
Oh, Charlie, I was so
They
hurt. I
broke
was
your
so
heart.
hurt. I was so hurt.
I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
apologize on their behalf.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, I went for a wedding again, like a few weeks after.
Okay.
Bro, I've not eaten so much, like from the house. I was just eating. Like I ate so much food at
This time
home
you
before I went
advised
because I
yourself
was
before
like,
you left the house.
yeah, I said it's not going to happen to me again. So yeah, I learned my lesson.
Okay.
Yeah,
So tip is make sure you eat before you go out.
you go. Yeah, exactly.
All right then. Amazing. So one thing I want to know, I think this is more so of a personal question because I like sweet things. Well, to be fair, not really, but I like to, indulge in some chocolate cake or something.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have seen vegan ice cream and all of that. But then what I want to know is like, what's the options like for someone with a sweet tooth within this like lifestyle?
Yeah, so I guess it's more or less like everything else. Like you need to know where to go because there are options, but then they're
Right.
not as. It's not like you're driving down the street and you see big shop classics, but then in brackets vegan.
Vegan.
You don't see that. You're not going to
Right.
see that at all, So you just kind of
Yeah.
have to know where to go. So
Okay.
I know a couple people, vendors on IG, and then also at events like them events where all these small vendors come and they set up their tables and they're selling food, and yeah, we also have vegan vendors. And one of my favorites is Bougie. It's called Bougie Bakes
Okay.
Vegan. If you type it on IG, you find them. Yeah, they make
You find
really
them.
good vegan like bakes. Yeah. So if you know where to go, you find everything you need. That's what it is. So the tricky part is finding where to go. Yeah.
Finding where to go. How easy
Yeah.
is that?
Um initially it was hard because I didn't really know anybody or anywhere. But then the
Right.
more you build a community, the more you tap into like existing communities as well, you just find everything you need. So once you find like I don't know, like there's a couple maybe two or three that I know of vegan communities where it's like actual communities of when I say communities, not like physical living in the same place, but more like
You know, I
online
get what you
communities.
Yeah.
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 Where there's like 300 Ghanaians inside and they're all vegan and they're just sharing like resources. Some of them inside their own restaurants, some of them sell stuff. So yeah, once you find these places and these resources, it's easy to find stuff. So yeah.
So you're gonna have to give us these plug us with these communities so we can help, so we can reach
Yeah. Of
bigger
course, of
vegan
course.
audience, like a bigger Ghanaian vegan audience who are looking for
Yeah.
communities. I mean, obviously you're around the
Yeah.
Ghanaian vegan, but then it would be
Yeah.
nice to also know some of these communities.
Yeah. I'm bad with names. That's the problem. But there's one called Vibrant Vegan Society of Ghana. That's what it's called. Vibrant Vegan Society of Ghana. They actually just had a plant-based market on, at least at the time of recording, just this past weekend. It was a 2-day
Right.
event. I passed through. It was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Vibrant Vegan Society of Ghana. And there's another one. I think it's called Vegan Society. I don't know. But it's like
No,
two or
I'm
three.
gonna get this from you, and then I'll put in like the description.
Yeah, we can put it in the description. Yeah, I'll send them
I
to you.
can
I'll
do
send them
that
to you.
because right now you're struggling a bit.
Yeah, right now it's passing over my head, but when I check, I'll send them to you so you can put them there. So everybody check the description is there.
Do you understand? Please check. Make sure you
Yeah,
read.
yeah.
Amazing. So for this interview, I actually got Afi to send me some questions to ask you.
Ish, mad.
For everyone listening who doesn't know, Afi is the co-host of Stay by Plan. This is a podcast that is hosted by both Afi and Zuu. You guys should really check out Stay by Plan. Dope episodes, dope conversations, and the chemistry between Afi and Zuu. I find it really beautiful and hilarious at the same time
Yeah,
because they're literally always on each other's necks.
yeah. That's really
But
what it
I
is.
have a really good question for you. Actually, all the questions I believe are good questions. So, one of her questions. This is one of her questions. What are some of the hard lessons you've learned in your vegan journey?
That's a wow.
That's a really good question.
Shout out to her because nobody has asked me. Like I've done a few interviews and nobody has ever asked me that before, and so I've actually never thought about it. So I'm about to
Yeah,
like think about it on the spot.
Afi, thank you
Hard
so much for
lessons.
replying to my DM
Yeah, that's a
and
really
giving us
good
this
question.
beautiful
Hard
question.
lessons. Um. Okay, so I guess a hard lesson is don't trust every what would I call them? Like waiters, chefs, those people at restaurants. Because
Right.
sometimes they don't even know what they're selling. But then they'll tell you that. So I remember I went for a wedding. No, it wasn't a wedding, it was a I don't even remember what it was, but I was taking photos basically at that event.
Okay.
And obviously I knew what it was, so like I always do, I ate before I came, so I was fine. But then
Yeah.
the lady's like, no, I want you to eat. You're doing such a good job. Da, da, da. Please take something. I know you don't have a lot of food options, but like just try and get something from this thing. Talk to the guy who's serving the food. I was like, okay, cool, no worries. So I went to talk to the guy, and I was like, they had like a small chop section.
Okay.
So they had like samosas and what you call it, spring rolls. And I was like, because I wasn't hungry, so I'm like, let me just take something so this woman is fine, because she was really worried that I wasn't
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the samosas and the spring rolls, are they vegetarian? Because vegetarian spring rolls and samosas are also vegan. usually.
Wait, okay. Before you go on, what's the difference
Yeah.
between a vegetarian and a vegan? Is it the same?
No, it's different. So vegans don't, if I make it very simple, they don't eat anything at all from animals. So no animal
Okay,
products or
okay,
byproducts. But
okay,
vegetarians often do like dairy and eggs,
okay,
but
okay,
vegans don't do any of that. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
So I'm like, is this safe? The guy's like, yeah, sure. Oh, it's a vegetarian. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. And okay, you know what? I just thought to myself, let me just break it open and see. I broke it open. The beefiest samosa I've ever seen in my life. Like back in the day, I'd have been so happy because it was stuffed to the core with beef. And then I broke the spring roll, the same thing. I said, this guy. So yeah, just a hard lesson, I guess, is you really can't trust anybody because he really said it like he's on that fried it, but he didn't know. But he's just saying yes because he just wants people to eat the food, I guess. So yeah. So I guess that's a hard lesson. I'm sure if I think about it, I'll get better answers. But for now, that's a hard lesson. Yeah.
That's a hard lesson. Shout
Yeah.
out Afi for such a dope
Yeah. Shout out to
question.
Afi.
You got
Yeah.
the man thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're about to get into my favorite part because I have been paying attention to your journey since like you started posting. I was pretty intrigued because I was like, ooh, a Ghanaian vegan, like who's this?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you started, you weren't posting like your face or anything.
Yeah. I wasn't. People thought I
So
was a girl.
yeah,
Yeah. I used to get
I
in my
mean, I
DM
was
like,
like, who's this, please? I just need to know.
yeah.
This is
In
some
my
really
DM,
interesting.
I used to get like, hey sis, oh my god. And one of my friends helped me with a
Hey, how
video
you
and
reply
like
to that?
I was like, please, so I'm not a woman. No. But like one of my friends helped me one of my videos and her hand came in the video and like she had done her nails. Someone is my DM like, oh my god, girl, where'd you get your nails done? I was like, oh my god, guys. So that's when I decided to post my face. I was like, enough is enough. Like,
Not
I
them
need to let them
stereotypes
know.
female.
Yeah. They said no,
Like,
it
can we
can't
not
be a
do
guy.
this?
It has to be a girl.
It
Yeah.
has to be a girl.
It has to be a
Meanwhile,
girl.
it's a full
Yeah.
man. So, but that's really nice. So, I have really enjoyed, like, you putting out the content, not just because you're putting out content, but I think it's very informational, educational, and also, like, you put out recipes that you can literally get ingredients at your home to, like,
Yeah.
put together an amazing vegan meal for yourself. My first question on concerning, like, you putting out content is why did you decide to document the journey
Yeah, that's a
online?
good question. Good question. So initially the page started as like a Finsta. So I just had like two or three people on there. And it was right when I started the vegan journey. So I was posting stuff like I'll go to the market and just take a video. And because it's just like two or three people, and at the time, believe it or not, people don't really believe me when I say this, but I was pretty shy like of posting content on the internet. Now I'm not as shy, but back in the day I was kind of shy. So
Right.
I was a lot more
No, trust me,
comfortable.
I get you. I don't think it's easy.
Yeah,
It
it's
really
not
isn't.
easy. Eventually you can get used to it, but like in the
Yeah,
beginning it's
but
not easy at
it
all.
really isn't.
Yeah. So I was posting to just a really small audience. It was like my sister and then two other friends, something like that. And then they were like, yo, I feel like you should just make this public. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to post my face and da, da, da. And they're like, oh, you don't need to post your face, all of that stuff. I was like, I'll think about it. And then COVID came about and everybody's at home. And COVID was honestly the birth of a lot of ideas for people. And I'm just like, bro, let me just, I'm at home. Let me just make this page public. And so I made it public. And that's how it started. So I had like a surprising, well, it surprised me. Maybe it's not surprising, but me, I was surprised. A surprising amount of support from people,
Yeah.
people I knew. Oh yeah, that's interesting. That's cool. It's different. Da da da. So yeah, I was just trying to be consistent with it. But basically, it started off as me just documenting my journey for a few people. And then when I made it public, I realized that people were beginning to feel like they felt like my content was really helping them because there are other people who were interested in going vegan or at least, putting their toes into that space. And yeah, I mean, I realized I was helping people, so it just gave me more motivation, and that's kind of how it started. So yeah, I love to help people. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think what you just said, saying like people, like you were helping people, people found it very helpful. And I think for me, that's
yeah,
actually one of the highlights of
mm,
your content creator journey as a vegan is I think you're relatable.
mm,
Sharing from like a Ghanaian perspective, especially, no
yeah,
asparagus. You're not telling us to go and buy
yeah,
blueberries.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're telling us that please go to your mother's kitchen or go to the market. You can
yeah,
find this and that to just, whip up a
yeah.
really cool vegan meal, smoothie, whatnot. So for me, I think that's actually like one of my highlights, like you being relatable.
I like that. I like that because, to add to that, sometimes I mean, obviously through the whole content creation thing, I've made some friend like international friends, so people from America, from the UK, blah blah blah. So when they are coming to Ghana, they always, not always, but a lot of them bring me stuff. So like vegan chocolates or like
Yeah,
basically stuff that I can't find in Ghana. And but I never
yeah,
post these things because if I post it, it's going to be a lot of, oh, where can I get this? Where can I get this? I'm like,
yeah.
you
But
can't,
we
you
can't
can't.
necessarily find that here. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I just try and keep it to stuff that I know people can find in Ghana because yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I think you're being helpful in that sense as well, like with taking away the whole expensive thing. Because if you can bring us vegan chocolates, we come back from here, brother man.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't even try that at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the highlight of your journey as a vegan content creator?
I think so. First of all, I get a lot of fulfillment from helping people. I think I've always been that type of person where if I feel like I've done something and it's made a positive change in somebody's life, I'm just pleased. So
Yeah.
definitely one of the highlights is getting fulfillment from just from sharing content. Another highlight is, I mean, definitely getting like I feel like I'm just this regular guy in Accra, and then there's people from like all over the world calling me and they want to talk to me about my experience. I'm like, bro, that's crazy that you even know who I am. Yeah. Sometimes people follow me. There's like people who have followed my accounts. I'm like, I'll be refreshing. Like, is there a mistake? Like, why is
Like,
this person
is this
following me?
person really following me?
Like, like, how did you even see me? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I think also another thing that's really cool is just seeing how far the content reaches. Like I get emails sometimes like, yo, we want to do this interview. I'm like, huh? Like what? you know
Yeah.
yeah, that's for me, it's just crazy sometimes to see how far the content goes. Yeah, I would say that's definitely, those are the things I like the most. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's really amazing, honestly. Thank
Yeah.
you for representing us as a country in the vegan space.
I try to.
So, I do have two other questions from Afi I would like to ask
Okay.
you. These aren't necessarily vegan related.
Okay.
So, one of her questions is, which is funny because it starts like this: is the opinion is the opinion is the wait hold on
Wait, read
is the
it.
opinion
Read it and
family?
then
Okay,
struggle.
let me take my time before. Let me take my time before.
Oh my god.
I gonna do blast post over here.
Oh
Okay,
my
okay.
god.
Let's take it from the top. From the top,
Okay.
is the opinion family important to you when making decisions, especially about your craft or creative journey?
Okay, so the other question is, what is an opinion family? Or is it like my family's opinion?
This, you see, this is a very good question you're asking
Yeah,
me.
yeah. It's a good
But
question.
if
It's a good
we're trying
question.
to think about, I think maybe what she's trying to ask, Afi, you correct us and if we are wrong, but
Hmm.
I think what she's trying to ask is, when it comes to you making decisions within like your creative
Yeah.
journey or your craft, do you consider your family?
No.
Or maybe do you consider the opinion of
No.
your family? Okay, wait. Yeah, maybe do you consider the opinion of your family?
No.
No.
Like honestly, no. But because why don't I consider? Okay, well, I consider the opinion of my sister, but
Okay.
that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, the rest of my family, no, because like they don't really understand the space and everything. So I don't even go there
Right.
for opinions. Like, yeah,
Right. Because it's not going to add or subtract to really what you're
yeah, they
doing.
don't really know. Like, so you're going to take a video and you be cooking in the video. Like, there's a lot of explaining that I need to do before they
I get
understand
what
what
you
I'm
mean.
even asking. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm more likely to go to friends who
Okay.
are around my age who understand, what I'm trying to do.
Right.
And of course my sister as well. So that's what I usually do. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So
But I
the last.
feel like I feel like maybe what she's trying to say is because she
Okay.
uses that thing, when you're typing, I don't know what they call it, but you slide your finger across the keyboard and it just builds
Right. Yeah.
the.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So she makes a lot of mistakes sometimes when she's texting. I feel you need to fix up. But yeah, so sometimes you might not understand. So you have to ask her, like, what do you mean? Do you know what I mean?
No,
So
not you coming for Afi on my podcast. I will not
I
tolerate
have
any
to
Afi slander. I
any
am
chance
not
I get, I have to do
tolerating
it
any
because
Afi slander on this
she wouldn't
podcast.
spare me. But
Oh,
yeah, I feel like maybe what she's trying to say is, do people's opinions
matter when it comes to
affect?
like
Yeah, like do they matter? Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's what she's trying to say. If that's what she's trying to say, I would say 9 times out of 10, I don't care about other people's opinions because for me, it depends on where it's coming from and how it's framed. If I know it's coming from somebody who cares about me, I'm more likely to listen. And then even then, if it's coming from someone who cares about me and you say it in the wrong way, I'll not even mind you. So
I can relate.
yeah, yeah, that's how I do it. Yeah,
So
yeah.
first of all, congratulations to you guys, by the way, you and Afi, for winning
Pause.
podcast influencer of the year. I wanted to get
Award. Yeah, yeah,
the title
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
This is where I need to do the whole
Yeah,
clapping thing
thank you.
again. Ooh,
Woo!
thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
congratulations to you guys. You guys definitely do deserve
Yeah,
it. So Afi's last
thanks.
question is, how has it been working with Afi on the pod?
Oh
Why are you rolling your
gosh,
eyes? I told you, no
like
Afi slander
I'm just
will be tolerated.
I saw
The
that
people
coming.
want to know, okay?
Yeah. No, to be fair, it's a good question. So honestly, it's been deciding to work with her is one of the best decisions I ever made. Because I think we work well together. She's
Right.
very when her mind is there, she's very dedicated. She's very
Why do you have to
like
take the time
on the
to say
job.
that when her mind is there? I told you,
Yeah,
no
because
Afi slander.
like no, it's not slander. It's not slander. Like life happens sometimes,
I
so
do
you
get what
get
you
distracted or busy with other things. So when she's present, she's really one of the best people to work with. We, I think we have, like you said earlier, we have a great on camera relationship or on the
Yeah,
podcast relationship, but also off the podcast.
yeah.
I think we do really well together. So yeah, we're really good friends. Is It's also interesting because I mean we do argue and stuff though. People think
I
we
mean, I
don't.
think that's
Like
typical in any relationship.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And I think we both acknowledge that even siblings, best friend, like if you have a good relationship with someone, there'll be times where you disagree and you have like back and forth. But at the end of the day, we're always able to like hash out differences and then come back to a good place. So yeah, definitely one of the best decisions I made ever to ask her to do the podcast. And yeah, and I'm excited to see what we come up with in the future. So yeah.
I'm excited as well. Like, I'm actually really excited. I do listen to the podcast and it's really, really nice, honestly. It's
I
enjoyable.
like
The
that.
episode,
Yeah.
like the topics you guys also cover are really, really like interesting. From like, I feel like you guys have a very nice spectrum of topics you discuss on the
Yeah.
podcast. And I find that to be very, very insightful and enjoyable at the same time.
I like that. Thank you for listening. Yeah. And I also have to give you your flowers, because I also did see your podcast when you started. I want to say last year, maybe. And you also reached out to me, I
Early
remember.
this year, I think.
Because a lot of people reach out to me that, oh, they want to start a podcast, and a lot of people don't do it. Most people don't do this. It just stays as an idea. But I'm
Right.
really glad to see that you've gone through with it. You've done season 1, you're starting season 2. You're finding innovative ways to do, conversations, interviews. Like me, I didn't know about this app, but here we are on this app doing podcasts. You know what I mean?
Honestly, shout out to
So
this app because it has helped me
yeah,
out.
It's we'll mention the name when they bring sponsorship. Then we'll
You
mention their name.
understand?
So don't
Shout
talk
out.
too
Yeah.
much.
When they bring the sponsorship, then we mention the name.
Exactly. So yeah, it's just really nice to see that you are making stuff happen. And yeah, I'm excited to see what you come up with next. Hopefully when they're
Not
doing
you
other.
making me blush.
Yeah, you have to blush. I'll do all the blushing now because there's more to come. And then
Oh,
yeah,
thank you so
when
much.
they're doing other stuff like other award shows and things, I won't see your podcast there as well. So just keep being consistent and yeah,
Come on.
we go reach.
You understand? Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I would like to say thank you for honoring my invitation again. It's been a delight having this conversation with you. I hope everyone is able to take something from this, whether you're vegan, whether you're not vegan, whether you're thinking about being vegan. Thank you so much, Zuu.
You're welcome. My pleasure. I had fun.
I'm glad you did. Okay.
Thank you so much for
Right.
tuning into the Changing the Narrative podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe to the Changing the Narrative podcast.